If you pride yourself on never needing anyone, you are lying to yourself. You wear your isolation like a badge of honor. You call yourself a lone wolf. You think that handling every burden in absolute silence makes you unbreakable. But let's strip away the ego and look at the cold reality. Your hyper-independence is not a sign of supreme strength. It is a highly sophisticated defense mechanism. It is fear dressed up as discipline. And while you think it is protecting you, it is actually the exact thing that is destroying your potential. Society glorifies the solitary grind. We are sold the image of the man who climbs a mountain completely alone, needing nothing and no one. But in the natural order, a wolf separated from its pack doesn't become a mythical creature of power. It fails. The same applies to you. When you refuse to ask for help, when you micromanage every detail of your life, and when you block people from supporting you, you are not showing how capable you are. You are broadcasting a profound lack of trust. You are telling the world that you are terrified of being disappointed. Let's break down the psychology behind this trap. Hyperindependence usually starts as a survival strategy. At some point in your life, you trusted someone and they let you down. The pain of that disappointment rewired your nervous system. Your brain decided that the only way to ensure your safety was to never rely on an external variable again. So, you build a fortress around your emotions and your ambitions. You convince yourself that if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. This mindset is a prison. It limits your world to only what your two hands can touch, effectively capping your growth at a very low level. But a fortress designed to keep threats out also traps you inside. By refusing to let anyone carry a fraction of your weight, you are guaranteeing your own collapse. Your nervous system is in a constant state of hypervigilance, carrying an unsustainable load. You confuse exhaustion with hard work. You think that burning yourself to the ground is the price of success. It isn't. It is the price of arrogance. The arrogance to believe you are the exception to the human rule of connection. You are carrying bricks that were meant to be shared, and eventually, the weight will crush your spirit, your health, and your vision. Look closely at the people you push away. When you refuse help from those who genuinely respect you, you rob them of the opportunity to show their loyalty. High-value individuals want to contribute. They want to invest their energy into people they admire. When you constantly put up a wall of, "I've got it," you signal to them that they are unnecessary in your life. Eventually, they will stop trying. You will be left exactly where your subconscious mind wants you to be, entirely alone, validating your own twisted belief that you can only rely on yourself. You aren't being strong. You are being self-sabotaging. Let's look at how this dynamic completely ruins your personal life, particularly your romantic relationships. Hyperindependence is the ultimate enemy of intimacy. Intimacy, by definition, requires you to lower your guard. It requires allowing a partner to see the parts of you that are not perfectly polished or completely figured out. When you operate strictly as a lone wolf, you are essentially telling your partner, "I will provide, I will protect, but I will never let you truly know me." You create a dynamic where you're the manager of the relationship, not an equal participant. This distance creates a cold environment where love cannot breathe, and eventually, the people who cared for you will seek warmth elsewhere. Over time, your partner begins to feel useless. They don't want a perfectly functioning machine. They want a human being. They want to know that their emotional support matters to you. By locking them out of your struggles, you are starving the relationship of the very oxygen it needs to survive. You think you are protecting them from your burdens, but you are actually depriving them of connection. You are choosing the safety of distance over the power of depth. The lone wolf always ends up in a house full of people where he feels completely unknown. That is a level of loneliness that no amount of professional success can fix. Consider the absolute ceiling of your success. If you are the only engine driving your life, you are inherently limited by your own 24 hours. You become the bottleneck of your own progress. The hyper-independent man will work himself to exhaustion, achieving a respectable level of success, but he will inevitably plateau. He cannot build an empire because an empire requires a dedicated team, and a team requires trust. You are trading exponential growth for the illusion of total control. You are choosing to be the undisputed ruler of a tiny, isolated island rather than a powerful leader on a massive continent. This isn't just inefficient. It is a profound waste of your true capabilities. True power is not isolation. True power is interdependence. It is a capacity to stand firmly on your own 2 feet, while possessing the confidence to build a network of mutual strength. Think of the difference between a foot soldier and a general. The soldier carries everything on his back and fights every battle with his own hands. He is limited by his physical reach. The general, however, directs the forces. He delegates. He trusts his commanders. He understands that his greatest strength is not his sword, but his ability to coordinate the strengths of others. If you insist on fighting every battle alone, you will never rise above the rank of a foot soldier in your own life. This lone wolf mentality is also a massive drain on your mental health. When you have no one to vent to, no one to bounce ideas off of, and no one to share the emotional load, your mind becomes an echo chamber of your own anxieties. You lose perspective. Small problems become giants because you have no external reality check. High-level performance requires a support system. It requires mentors who can see your blind spots and peers who can push you when you are tired. By cutting these people out, you are choosing to walk through a minefield without a map. To break free from the trap of hyperindependence, you must integrate a terrifying truth. You need people, and people need you. Relinquishing control is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate display of self-assurance. It requires immense courage to look someone in the eye and say, "I can't carry this alone right now." It requires a formidable mindset to accept support without feeling like you are in debt. The strongest men are those who can command an army because they had the humility to learn how to be part of a team first. Your transition starts today. Identify one area of your life where you are carrying unnecessary weight. Hand a piece of it to someone you trust. Let them handle it. And when they do, resist the urge to micromanage them or take it back. Let it be. Experience a profound relief that comes from realizing the world will not shatter just because you stopped holding it together. This is how you begin to build a kingdom. You build it block by block, hand by hand, with people who are as committed to the vision as you are. You must stop confusing your past pain with your present identity. Just because someone failed you once doesn't mean everyone will. The lone wolf path is a dead end. It leads to a life of quiet desperation and unrealized potential. It is time to drop the shield. It is time to step out of the fortress. True authority is knowing when to stand alone and when to lead an empire. You were not designed to be a solitary observer of life. You were designed to be a master of your environment, and that environment includes other human beings. If you are ready to stop surviving and start commanding your reality, join us. Subscribe to Emotional Dynamics. The era of the lone wolf is over. It is time to gather your strength. Find your allies and build your kingdom. The weight of the world is too much for one man, but it is nothing for a leader who knows how to build a legacy.